about Mitch being one of the best leaders you've been around? You
From
hear
a-
that
from a kicking
Okay, fair point.
And not that he's not compared to others, but specialists sometimes get quote segregated,
Right.
or on their own, or don't fit in, and he very much fits in like a real regular guy, regular player on a high end. And from a specialist, it would be hard to say I've been around better. For real players, probably one of the more solid ones. Not to say he's hands down the best, because I do think the leadership's best with play.
Right.
And kickers don't quite play as much. Not that his play is not bad, but when you're the every down linebacker, running back, you stick out more. But anyway, he does a great job.
How does he, how do you become one of the guys when you're a kicker? I mean, you talk about them being segregated. Obviously, it seems like they're starting practice.
I think one personality, DNA, he works really hard to not be a kicker, in the locker room. So he's going to hang out with the guys. A lot of times it's the kickers that look good. He will. I mean, on his own, this past spring, we start practicing what we call pat and go. Just a little jogging down, catching balls. He just jumped the line and started catching balls just to be with the guys. It's not very stressful and it's not very difficult. Instead of just standing over the side, twiddling my thumbs, he just jumped the line and just started hanging out. So he has nice command presence. When he do things in front of the team, has a nice voice, has a nice body posture, body language. So just a little bit's probably the way he was raised. Maybe the Lord made him.
What makes him a good kicker? I mean, how much have you seen him evolve just as a player in that
one
regard?
One thing he's got now, and I don't know, it's not my quote expertise, but I think mechanically, as a guy that's a golf guy, I think he is. I think mechanically clean, very sound, very thorough. Works at his craft very hard. Will actually leave our place 2 or 3 times a year to work with quote the kicking camp guys. When he goes as a counselor, what he's really going is to get a little extra tune-up on my own. Works very, very hard in the weight room. Is significantly bigger, stronger since we've gotten here. So, I know when I went to a Colts game a year ago, we did a preseason game, and I took a couple guys down the field for warm-ups. Where Rath was there, and I wanted to see Sammy. The Colts kickers weren't big, but they were kind of piped up.
Yeah.
They weren't like 6'3", but man, there was some substance. And I kind of challenged him to get stronger. And I do think he's a very confident guy. So I think he likes pressure, big kicks, and we're going to put a lot more in him. And not necessarily kick a 54-yard field goal. We put a lot of pressure in that kickoff, where it's got to go and where it's got to place, so we can cover a smaller part of the field to have better kick coverage. So,
is he a pro?
And the guys I've been around that have had shots and made it, he's very, very comparable. And in some ways, I think he's better. And that's Garrett Hartley, who's doing pretty well for the Saints. And I played with some guys, Jeff Hayes and some guys I've been around. I've been around probably 3, 4, 5 guys that have been camp guys who make it, and he is the equivalent of those guys. And so does he get the opportunity? Probably. And based on where he is, maybe he makes it, maybe he doesn't, because sometimes that's a heads or tails. Do you get drafted, or do you free agent yourself in a place where the door swings your way?
When you look at your schedule with those 5 at home to start the season, do you break it down in any way in terms of you got to do this much by this point, or in terms of for the first 5, how many you have to win?
Well, I think again, you look at the way it sets up. As soon as you get the Big Ten, they're all going to be every year. It's home away, all demanding, all challenging. I think to do what we need to do, the momentum we need to come out and start fast. And I don't know, quote, if you're at mid-season form, game 1 and all that, but hopefully we're mature enough with so many starters coming back, as well as we've been working. It seems leading into summer, it looks like summer hopefully has been great. Now we'll hopefully have a healthy and positive and strong preseason. I don't think we're fighting ourselves internally, so I think there's some good chemistry and vibe. You'd like to think we're going to produce or perform well in preseason. Then hopefully you come out and start fast. So I don't see it like we got to, get them all. We have studied those opponents, and we're still kind of doing some of that. We will do a little bit of that in preseason, as far as working on certain elements of some of those games to get a little prep time. But at the end, I think we need to start very, very fast with Indiana State, come out and play as strong as we can to see where we're at, because then here comes Navy, a bowl team, Bowling Green, a bowl team, and Missouri, who on record struggled, but probably as talented as the majority of the upper-level Big Ten teams are going to play. And I know that from playing them. And they might be 5-7. Again, they lost to teams 1 through 9 5 of those losses. So again, to me, we got to start fast.
Where are you in the whole SEC Big Ten discussion? I know Coach Stoops during the summer caused a little bit of controversy by saying there's a lot of media propaganda about how much the SEC is better than everybody else.
You know, to me, number one, their records, coaches, players, performances, draft picks, honorees speak for themselves. If you want to look at bowls, that's just one game, 2 teams, 1 game. So it's all matchups. So if you don't play everybody at matchup, how does really say, hey, your bowl record was X and X, so that league's better? I don't know. Sometimes it's not always equal 1 versus 1 matchup, 2 versus 2, whatever. So I don't get hung up on saying in 3 or 4 or 5 crossover bowl games, well, they're better because they're 3-1, like the Big Ten ACC basketball challenge. You know, if we're going to play, how many games is that? 12.
Yeah.
And if it's 8-4, okay, this league's better. Whatever. You know, somebody played at home. You know, I mean, okay, they won 8. We did or they did. To me, the propaganda, for example, is we're trying to brand and build our program. You as media really can help me or hurt me. And facts are facts. But there's also some perception of the way things are presented. There's a great picture in USA Today of a coach, and they're talking about bad memories, and look at the picture of that coach, because that picture was picked coincidentally or not. You know what I mean? There's perceptions that get presented. So as I'm branding our program, and the Big Ten Network goes to replay games, where's my game? You know, so when you're tied into ESPN, you're getting some coverage. I know at Oklahoma when we played a game and we were on Fox, our highlights didn't make ESPN that night. And we're getting ready to be voted on 1, 2, 3, or 4. And you're sitting there saying, well, how did they play? You don't see my highlights. Next week we were on ABC or ESPN. Today, boom, 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 boom. So there is a little bit of that, quote, branding. And the branding is because certain networks get locked in. You know, for example, in the Big Ten, we'll play a game on Big Ten Network. That week when they do the Big Ten replays, they'll replay the ABC and ESPN game. Hey man, we just played a pretty good game that day. Where's our show? Flip us out there. So when they're talking about the property, it's you know, when ESPN comes in and does an hour preseason program of a team, and they're there for a 4 or 5 day run, that's recruiting.
I mean, they were in the lobby last week in Birmingham for 3 days. They had 10 people there.
ESPN.